Welcome to the Bookies Plus weekly betting show where you'll get free NFL picks for week 14 from 4 of our gambling experts. And last week, we were on fire 12-2 as a group. Been a number of good weeks, but doesn't get much better than that. Gentlemen, before I go on with the intro, any comments on the recent hot streak we're all running through?
Just keep her going. Keep her moving.
That's it. Keep grinding,
keep
right?
Keep it going, man. Let's keep it going. Anytime we have an opportunity to bet against the Kansas City Chiefs as double-digit favorites, I think we're just going to do that the rest of the way.
Exactly. That is the way to go. Thank you, Andy Reid, the gift that keeps on giving. Hey, you can also find our free picks at bookies.com/picks. Not only NFL picks, we got sports for just about picks for just about any sport you want to cover. So definitely bookmark that, check it out. And remember, I know the show's on Thursday, but otherwise Wednesdays, the rest of the season. This week we'll have picks from Bill Speros, the senior betting analyst for bookies.com. You got Adam, the ATM Thompson. Been in one of the nation's premier handicappers, over 60% NFL the last 3 years. Nick the Whale Whalen, been in the industry over a decade, NBA, NFL, you know him from RotoWire, also does guest spots on VSiN and DraftKings, and I'm Jim Coventry. Let's get to the picks. 3 of us are on the Buffalo Bills -4.5 against the Los Angeles Rams. Bill, you can start. Nick, you can pile on, and I'll see what scraps are left.
You know, I listen to that intro every week, and I'm wondering, what the hell am I doing here? You got Nick the Whale, you got ATM, you got you, and I'm like, I feel
you're the sage wizard of the group.
I feel like I'm lost, but I'm not lost with this one. The Bills are clicking. That Bills Eagles Super Bowl is starting to manifest itself in my head. It's otherwise cloudy. Kind of decrepit. The Bills have the tiebreaker with Kansas City. I don't think the Chiefs are going to lose this week, but they can certainly lose one of their final few games. Here in this game, Buffalo should be able to run the ball pretty well. They won't have the weather on their side, but this is going to be another home away from home for visiting teams at SoFi. This will be a very pro-Buffalo crowd, and the Bills are 8-4 on the line. They've won 9 straight. They've covered in 7 of 8. This time of year, you don't really have to outsmart yourself. This is a reasonable number, almost too reasonable to where I might be nervous. But the Bills are a solid play. They don't turn the ball over. They can run on you. They can throw on you. And, unlike Tom Brady, Josh Allen can throw the ball and catch the ball. So maybe Giselle will marry him next. She's in a run lately herself.
Oh, that's good stuff. Nick Whalen, go ahead and pile on here. Maybe Nick's not with us right now. I think he's kind of frozen. All right, I'll
very
chirp
stoic.
up. Yes, he's very stoic. I'll chirp up on this one. So in this game, we never know what version of the Rams we're going to get. They're a maddening team to handicap. But here's what I specifically like about the Bills' defense here. We know that Sean McVay loves to use a lot of pre-snap motion, likes to use play action. The Bills are among the best defenses in the league against play action and motion. They have a pair of big corners. Puka Nacua, that's a bad matchup for him. I know they give up something on the ground, but Kyren Williams hasn't been earth-shattering this year. The other thing is the Bills don't have one elite pass rusher, but they got a group of 4 or 5 that can bring it consistently. And Matthew Stafford has been very problematic when he's been under pressure, especially interior pressure. And the Bills are one of those teams that could supply that pressure. And offensively, like Bill intimated, good luck. Good luck stopping Josh Allen, because what we see is the Rams do it with scheme. They got a few good players, but a couple nice edge rushers. They're nice, but it's scheme. And you got to beat Josh Allen with Jimmys and Joes. You're not going to beat him with X's and O's. And so, to me, easy one. Bill, so the Bills -4.5. And then, Nick, any thoughts on the Bills?
Yeah, apologies, guys. Having some internet issues here with the snow and wind in the Milwaukee area, but hopefully you can hear me.
Boy.
I know this is a very tough travel spot for the Buffalo Bills, going cross country, played in primetime at home last week. But teams that travel from Eastern to Pacific time are 21-12-1 ATS in the last 2 seasons on the second leg of that trip. Josh Allen, 29-4 straight up versus sub 500 teams in careers in this game. 13 points per game, and we started throughout. It really started as 31 straight passes. Have a ton just here.
I had to remove Nick. It's not going to work this way right now. The internet may be a big problematic issue. So let's move on to our next round. Adam, we'll go with our Eagles pick after. We're going to go with Bill Speros here. Bill Speros is rolling with the Chiefs. Why don't you tell us about the Chiefs -3.5 against the Los Angeles Chargers?
Yeah, it's -3.5. The books have made a killing on the Chiefs this year. They're 5-7 on the line, if you can believe it. 11-1 team, 5-7 on the line. You know, they've won 14 straight one-score games. This team has not covered the spread since October 20th. You can believe that.
Ooh.
I mean, the Panthers have covered the spread 3 times in that span. So, unfortunately for Roger Goodell and for the Chiefs, Taylor Swift will be in Vancouver on Sunday night. She will not be in attendance unless they figure something out where she's kind of AI in it both ways. But that's the last night of her concert tour. But I still like Kansas City. That hook makes me nervous. I'm taking the cheese just to see a reasonable line. I know the Chargers are tough. Defensively, they're tough, but I think Isaiah Pacheco will finally be 100%. And it's Patrick Mahomes at home on a primetime night game, and you got a reasonable number here. I can't not take it, especially when we're finally getting a decent number on this team. You know, a lot of money's been made betting against them on absurd spreads, given the fact that they don't have an offense. But I think their defense will keep them in this one, like it has done for much of the season.
You know, one thing I'll say about this game is the kryptonite for the Chargers defense, another defense that's all schemed up. They're very light up front, and the Chiefs are the team that'll put 2 and 3 tight ends in, and they'll bludgeon you on the ground. And I don't think the defense has the bodies to hold up to that. So the Chiefs should just wear them down, and they should not have an answer for that. And like you said, Pacheco is back, even if he only plays half of the snaps. Enough explosive runs there. That's a great one.
Well, you talk about scheme. You gotta account for him.
Right.
He's like Patton's first army ahead of D-Day. It was all inflated tanks and ships. You know, you have to plan for him if he's going to be on the field, no matter what.
100%. That's a great point. Adam Thompson, we're looking at the Eagles. You, Nick, and I. Nick, if his internet gets back, he'll bounce back in. Go ahead and talk about the Eagles. -12 against the Carolina Panthers.
Yeah, the upstart Carolina Panthers is actually covered in 4 straight. Including 2 victories. So, you know, they have turned a corner, but, you know, let's be real. All 4 of those games were at home this season. On the road, they're 1-4. The one win was against the Raiders back in week 3. And anybody can beat the Raiders, especially back in week 3. The other 4 games they lost by 37, 26, 33, and 14 was the closest one that they played. So I think Philly, you know, we need to hope that Philly does not look past Carolina because this is probably a W, you know, regardless of what happens, regardless of what the final score is. But I think, you know, they've won 8 straight. They have an epic advantage across both fronts. And if they get a lead, Saquon Barkley against the 32nd ranked run defense of the Carolina Panthers should be enough to make a 14-point game a 21-point game instead of 14 going to 7 in that fourth quarter.
Yeah, you talk about them letting down, and I don't think that happens either. And the reason being is they have become a power running team. My God, they got their interior guards are massive. They have the set of excellent tackles. They just brutalize defense. You said they're the worst run defense in the league. And it's not like they could sell out to stop it because they don't have much in the secondary. And if they sell out to stop it, there's this fella named A.J. Brown who's just going to roast you if you bring a safety down and you give him single coverage over the top. So realistically, how do you let down on that? It's just like go out and get after him. And, you know, you mentioned the passing attack for the Panthers. Well, Bryce Young, give him credit. He's been wonderful. But the Chiefs haven't been able to cover for weeks. That was 2 weeks ago. And last week, the Buccaneers can't cover anybody anyway. It's a completely different defense. Yeah, they can cover. And more importantly, they can pressure. And Bryce Young still holds the ball too long. So, yeah, I see it like you do. Nick, any thoughts on the Eagles minus 12?
Love the Eagles this week, guys. I know we're kind of walking into a trap here. Philly has won 8 in a row. They're 8-4 against the number on the year. This is the first time, though, that they've been favored by double digits. Jalen Hurts only 2-5 against the number in his career as a double-digit favorite. I don't care. Too many advantages here. This is a catastrophic mismatch for the Carolina Panthers.
Yeah, we lost Nick again. That's all right. Bill,
Wisconsin weather. Wisconsin weather will get you.
Yeah, I did 4 years at Marquette, and I didn't have internet for 4 years. But that was back in 1982. So, yeah, I had no internet my 4 years at Marquette. We did just fine.
No, and I went to Loyola, and I graduated in '87, and we had not so much going on.
Didn't need no stinking internet back then.
Definitely did not. We had an edge on the field too, bigger than we have now. Anyway, we had
read books in the library.
Oh,
drank all night.
And I know we just lost half of our audience in the last 2 minutes.
Anesthesia back then. No anesthesia.
My gosh. Great stuff. Weak. Bill, while you're at it, why don't you talk about the Miami Dolphins? They're laying 6.5 to the New York Jets, a team you love to bet against.
Okay. Couple of things. Philadelphia, Carolina, 12.5 points. Big number. You're up 28-10. Garbage time touchdown with no time left. There goes your number. No. That's too big for Philly. You're right. Philly's going to run the ball. They run the ball all day. They're going to win this game 28 to, 17 or something like that. The Jets. Yeah, speaking of bad things that don't work, like Nick's Wi-Fi. Like if Nick's Wi-Fi was an NFL team, it would be the Jets. And what's really going to be delicious about this game, I mean, they're, and they're aptly named, right? When you begin to fall, you accelerate, and then you reach what they call critical mass, 128 feet per second. And the Jets are right now, they're in their free fall. They're at critical mass. And they get to go to Miami. It's going to be high 70s. It's going to be warm. It's going to be humid. I mean, the Jets blew a 21-7 lead at home to freaking Geno Smith.
Ooh.
And I got to say, Geno Smith and Sam Darnold have disproven the adage, you can take the Jets out of the player. They've both done it this year. The Dolphins are at home. They're looking at the playoffs. They're coming off a mini bye. They're a handful of get-right teams in the NFL. The Jets are at the top of the list. Aaron Rodgers, he's good with his Netflix documentary. Never want to hear that man's name and Tom Brady's name mentioned in the same sentence, given what Tom Brady accomplished at Aaron Rodgers' age. I'm not worried about the 6.5. I mean, this one has got like 31-7 written all over it.
Oh, I love that. So room to cover and plenty to relax late in the game. No sweat in that one. Any words on that game, Adam?
Yeah, I agree. Miami's one of my favorite picks of this week, too. I just think Aaron Rodgers and that Jets team just can't keep up. They struggle to score 20 points in just about any game. Miami, now that Tua's got going, will throw away that game at Lambeau, the frigid game at Lambeau that everybody said Miami wouldn't be able to compete in, and we're absolutely correct. They had scored at least 27 points in the 4 of their previous 5 games with Tua. So I think if they scored 27, I don't think the Jets are going more than 20. And that's in a good day. I agree with Bill. I think this is a 10 to 14 to 17 point game.
Yeah, I love that. Hey, you put Tua's popgun arm in Lambeau Field. Yeah, that was never going to work. But you take it out of Lambeau Field and you put in some warm weather, maybe not so bad. Get a little more pop out of that pop.
I'd look at like plus 1,200 that the Jets don't even come up for the second half. They just go straight to South Beach.
Oh, that sounds like fun.
I think Miami wish they would have done that last Thursday too.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
There's plenty of hookah bars for Aaron Rodgers down there where my boy lives.
Aaron Rodgers. All right, Adam, let's go to the Tennessee Titans laying 3.5 points. Who do they lay 3.5 points to? Oh, that's right. They're playing the Jaguars. Go ahead.
Yeah, the Jaguars with no Trevor Lawrence, who hopefully will not be back this season for his own sake.
He's on IR.
Yeah, he's done. So we get Mac Jones, who has led the Jaguars to 13 points in his 2 starts. And, Tennessee, their pass defense has struggled lately. Statistically, they're still one of the better ones, but injuries have kind of hurt that. Their run defense, has gone in the wrong direction as well. But, this Jacksonville team they're just counting down the days. And Will Levis and Tennessee, they're playing better as of late on offense. He's been maddeningly inconsistent. His last 4 games, he has 2 games where he has percentages around 50%. And the other 2 games, his percentages are 75 and 78%. But I think we can get that 75, 78 this week against the Jaguars. Pass defense is the worst in the league. They're dead last in yards given up through the air. And at home, Tennessee's defense is 9 points better per game than it is on the road, which is a crazy number. But they get up for their games in Nashville, and I think Jacksonville, they're just counting down the days.
They definitely are counting those days down. Anything else on that game, Bill? Titans and Jaguars?
Mac Jones. Hey, we all deserve a second chance.
Exactly. Maybe he'll get a pardon. Oh, too soon. All right, let's go to my last game. The Saints are late.
Belichick needs a pardon for letting Brady go, but
he does.
I don't know if you can pardon the football equivalent of mass homicide. So we'll see.
Oh, no, cannot do that. Not in any good conscience. My last pick is the Saints -5. They're laying 5 points on the road. They're playing the Giants. All right, here's the big deal with the Giants. Dexter Lawrence is done for the season. That run defense had been bad for the last month. Take Dexter Lawrence out of the equation. This now is probably the worst run defense in the league. We know the Saints will run. We know they'll run Alvin Kamara, and there is little and no resistance. And actually, we might even get a Kendre Miller sighting this weekend because Darren Rizzi, the interim coach, he's like, well, Miller's not in my doghouse. We're getting him back on the roster. So that could even help the running game. That said, even when they go to pass, the pass rush, Dexter Lawrence is the best interior pass rusher in the league, arguably, but I think he clearly is at number 1. And that's allowed Brian Burns and Kayvon Thibodeau to get a little extra pressure on the outside. Without Lawrence, they're not getting pressure. And Derek Carr without pressure, he is a very good quarterback. He'll use play action. And we know under play action with little pressure, Derek Carr, even with limited options, should get Bub Means back this week. That's the expectation, but he should have enough to get going here. That's the other side of the ball. Darren Rizzi, as I mentioned, specials team coach, now the interim coach. You see a distinct difference in the Saints team with him. They are playing hard. And I know that sounds like bad analysis, but this team was checked out defensively most of the season. They are getting after it now. They have bad run defense. They're actually tackling when they weren't tackling. They're aggressive. And the Giants with Drew Lock, yeah, probably not so much. They'll get their short pass to Malik Neighbors. That'll be fine. But otherwise, I just think the Saints have plenty of firepower, and the Giants probably have nothing left, and they just lost their heart and soul. Nick, you got the under on the Arizona-Seattle game, and if you have internet, we'd love to hear about it.
Yeah, guys. Well, we'll try this for a third time after I've now fully reset everything. So hopefully I can actually get through this here. But excuse me. Yes, I like the under 44.5 here in Arizona and Seattle. It's actually down from open at 46 earlier this week. At DraftKings right now, 49% of the bets are on the under. 93% of the money is coming in on the under. For what it's worth, I do lean Cardinals here to win and cover the 2.5. A lot of money coming in on Arizona over the last couple of days. Seattle, yeah, they've won 3 in a row, but they've kind of skated by all those games, especially last week where they fumbled 3 kickoffs.
Oh, man.
I think we lost Nick again.
So close.
We almost made it.
You almost made it. We were close. So close.
Yeah.
Phil Speros, any closing thoughts as we enter week 14? We are officially into December.
Yeah, playoffs, of course. Florida marks its 1-year anniversary of legal sports betting this week through the Hard Rock app. The Seminole tribe has a monopoly in the state, as most people know. Florida has 21 million people. It's the biggest state in the country with legal sports betting. We can talk more about what's coming up next year. As I've reported at length, the tribe is engaged with other operators to allow them to, come into the state at a hefty price. You might see that next year. There might be some consideration for iGaming this year from the tribe, and that might also loosen them up in terms of allowing competition. So that just kind of an update on where things stand in the biggest state in America with legal sports betting.
No, I love that. That's a great addition. We always love that part of the show where we get some of these updates that especially people like myself are not in the loop on. So thank you for that. Adam Thompson, closing thoughts.
I just want to hear more closing thoughts from Bill. We have a history lesson. We had a science lesson. We have a politics lesson. Where's geography? Let's hear something. I don't know.
You got to get some geography this week. I'm glad you brought that up, Adam, because one thing bettors forget to look at is the weather in Florida late in the season. We always hear about the weather in Green Bay, Buffalo, Cleveland. You never hear about the weather in Arizona. Is the stadium door going to be open? In LA, is that roof going to be open? And certainly in Miami, not so much Tampa or Jacksonville. But yeah, do keep an eye on the weather in games in Florida, especially. And then also in places like Phoenix or Glendale, wherever if the roof might be open or not.
Adam, were you continuing any closing thoughts or were you good?
No, that's it.
So when you mentioned weather, Bill, last year was the craziest because I was very rarely doing any types of like weather updates on games. It was like the most peaceful season weather-wise. And this year we're already been seeing a number of games impacted. And for football, we love that. That's part of the beauty of we get into November, December. We want to see these games. We want, these added elements involved. And last year in the NFL playoffs, we had that sub-zero game between Kansas City and Miami. Oh, well, Tua's popcorn in cold weather. Imagine that. But as I said earlier, that's it. I'm hoping this week looks like it's not going to be anything crazy with weather. But hopefully as we get deeper into December, we do get a few of these games because those are often memorable football opportunities. I just want to repeat that. We had a great week last week. We've had a great season. But last week we were 12-2 as a group. I know Bill and myself went 3-0 last week. A number of us had 3-0 weeks throughout the season. So we're just plugging along, breaking these games down, giving you our best. And if you like what we have to offer, Bookies Plus is free. And you can catch this gambling show. Again, it's Thursday, but every Wednesday going forward, the rest of the season, we'll get you through the playoffs as well. And you can find the picks on the site. You go to bookies.com/picks. Make sure you bookmark that too. And you can check out again our picks, NFL and all other sports as well. We got you covered. So anyway, thank you for hanging with us. Let's recap the picks. Bill Speros had the Dolphins -6.5, the Bills -4.5, and the Chiefs -3.5. Adam Thompson goes to the Eagles -12, the Titans -3.5, and the Vikings -5.5. Nick Whalen, who had some internet issues, agrees with the field on the Eagles and the Bills, and he also likes the under on Arizona, Seattle. I went with the group on the Eagles and the Bills. I know Bill Speros went against the Eagles on that one, but the other two besides myself, and then the Saints -5. Let's hope we have another 12-2 or better week. We'll keep chopping away.
Pray for Nick's internet.
Yes.
We'll pray for Nick.
For Bill Speros and Adam Thompson, I'm Jim Coventry. Everybody have a profitable week 14.